Hello, and welcome back. Ever notice something weird about ships? Like, no matter if it's a 100-year-old ocean liner or a modern-day cargo giant, they all have one thing in common: big, bold, red belly. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool, but why red? I mean, ships live in the ocean, shouldn't they be, like, blue or green? Or at least something that blends in? But nope, they're rocking that deep, rusty red, like it's the latest fashion trend. So, what's the deal? Is this some ancient maritime superstition? A secret shipbuilder's handshake? Or is there actually a brilliant, science-backed reason why ships have been painted red for centuries? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into a wild history of poisonous paint, parasitic sea monsters, and one of the sneakiest tricks in naval engineering. And trust me, you'll never look at a ship the same way again. Let's go! Oh! The brutal reality of the sea. All right, imagine for a second that you are a ship. You're built strong, towering over the water, ready to conquer the high seas. Sounds epic, right? Yeah, until you realize that the ocean is not your friend. In fact, it's actively trying to wreck you every second of every day. Let's talk about your enemies. 1. Saltwater, the silent killer, say. Seawater isn't just water with a little salt. It's liquid sandpaper, corrosive, relentless, and out to destroy anything metal. If your hull isn't protected, you'll rust faster than an old pickup left in a Florida swamp. And once rust takes over, boom, you're nothing but a 50,000-ton pile of expensive junk. 2. Marine growth, the ocean's freeloaders said. Ever left your car outside for too long and had it covered in dirt and grime? Now imagine that, but 1,000 times worse, and instead of dirt, it's barnacles, algae, and slimy sea creatures clinging to your hull like an all-you-can-eat buffet. This biofouling creates massive drag, slowing you down, burning more fuel, and costing ship owners millions per year. 3. Shipworms, the wood-eating demons may. If you were a wooden ship back in the day, you had another problem: shipworms. These tiny, evil mollusks would chew through your hull like termites on steroids, leaving you with more holes than a slice of Swiss cheese. Entire fleets were lost to these little monsters. So yeah, the ocean hates ships. It'll rust you, infest you, and straight up eat you alive. The only way to survive? Find a way to fight back. And that's where the red paint comes in, but we'll get to that. Stay with me. The ancient battle against the ocean. All right, so we've established that the ocean is basically a 24/7 demolition derby for ships. But humans? We're stubborn. We weren't about to let some salty water and freeloading sea creatures ruin our maritime dreams. 1. The Greeks tried, but oops. Way back in ancient Greece, shipbuilders realized their wooden ships were getting absolutely devoured by shipworms. Imagine spending months building a beautiful 100-foot warship, only to have it turned into driftwood by some tiny ocean termites. Not cool. Their solution? Cover the hull in lead plates. In theory, brilliant. In practice, not so much. Lead in constant contact with water and iron nails caused galvanic corrosion, a fancy way of saying your ship falls apart faster. So, back to the drawing board. 2. The Copper Revolution, shipworms' worst nightmare. By the 1700s, shipbuilders finally found the magic bullet: copper plating. They realized that covering the underside of ships with thin sheets of copper did two things. It poisoned shipworms. Good luck munching on that, you little sea goblins. It stopped barnacles from latching on. No more ocean squatters slowing us down. But here's the catch. Copper oxidizes in seawater. Over time, those shiny copper sheets turned green. Yep, like the Statue of Liberty. So, if you ever see old paintings of wooden ships with a greenish hull, that's not bad paint, it's just nature doing its thing. 3. The switch to iron and steel. New ships, new problems. Fast forward to the 1800s, and boom iron-hulled ships replaced wooden ones. Awesome, right? No more shipworms. But hold up. No copperment barnacles and algae were back with a vengeance. And now, there was a new enemy. Iron and steel may be strong, but without protection, they'd rust into oblivion faster than a forgotten lawn chair in a Florida hurricane. Clearly, we needed something new, something tough, something that could keep ships clean and protect them from rust. And that's where the red paint revolution begins. Stay tuned. The birth of red paint. Science meets tradition. All right, so we've got a problem. Iron ships are rusting, barnacles are clinging on like stubborn chewing gum, and ship owners are losing money faster than a leaky wallet. Time for a game changer. Enter anti-fouling paint. 1. The breakthrough. A German genius saves the day. Head. In 1865, a German chemist named Heinrich Rahn said, "What if we make a paint that protects ships and stops sea creatures from throwing a barnacle party on the hull?" Genius! His formula was basically a toxic smoothie of death for marine life. It included arsenic, because nothing says stay away like poison, SCO. Mercury oxide. Yep, the same stuff that made old thermometers terrifying. SMAR. Linseed oil and resin to make it stick like glue. A Venetian red, iron oxide, the ingredient that gave it its iconic red color. 1. 2. Why red? Because it was cheap, tough, and did the job. Venetian red isn't just any red, it's a naturally occurring iron oxide pigment found in the dirt, which means it was dirt cheap, literally. It was insanely durable. Iron oxide equals rust resistant. It looked kinda cool. Okay, maybe not the biggest reason, but still. And just like that, red anti-fouling paint became the new standard. It kept rust away, stopped marine hitchhikers, and was way easier and cheaper than slapping copper sheets on every ship. 3. From science to tradition. Che. At first, shipbuilders just used red because it worked, but over time, it became a signature look. Shipping companies started using red undersides as part of their brand. Some, like Cunard Line, even added fancy boot toppings, those extra decorative stripes above the waterline, to make their ships look extra sharp. Even today, red hulls are still the go-to color for anti-fouling paint, not because ships have to be red, but because after 150 GA1 years, why mess with what works? But here's the kicker, do we even need red paint anymore? Well, let's find out. Modern ships and the red paint legacy. So, after centuries of battling the ocean, we finally had our answer: red anti-fouling paint. It stopped rust, kept marine hitchhikers off, and became the ultimate life hack for ships. But here's the million-dollar question. Do we still need red paint today? 1. Do ships still use red paint? Kinda, but not always. No. Fast forward to the 21st century, and shipbuilders have access to a whole rainbow of anti-fouling paints. In theory, ships could be blue, green, black, or even neon pink if they wanted. But guess what? Most ships still stick to red. Why? It's still one of the cheapest pigments. Iron oxide is still great at preventing rust. Sue tradition. Let's be real, shipbuilders are creatures of habit. 2. The illusion of color. Cruise Ship's little trick said, "Ever seen a cruise ship with a blue bottom and thought, oh, they finally ditched the red paint? Hate to break it to you, but it's an illusion. Most cruise ships still have red antifouling paint underneath. They just add a thin strip of blue, or another color, above the waterlinea trick called boot topping. It makes the ship look fancy for passengers, while below the water, it's still rocking that good old anti-fouling red." 3. Environmental concerns. No more arsenic, please. Block. Remember that deadly paint cocktail from the 1800s? Yeah, turns out dumping arsenic, mercury, and lead into the ocean wasn't a great idea. Who knew? Today, shipbuilders use eco-friendly anti-fouling paints with safer biocides. Some even experiment with silicone coatings that make the hulls so slick that marine creatures literally slide off. 4. Red paint, a smart trick that became a maritime icon Hano. So, is red paint just an old habit or a genius trick that still holds up? Honestly, it's both. Ships don't have to be red anymore, but after centuries of success, why mess with perfection? And next time you see a ship, take a closer look. You might just spot that classic anti-fouling red, still doing its job after all these years. Says. So, after all that history, science, and a little bit of toxic paint madness, what's the final verdict? Is red paint just an old habit, or is it still a smart trick? It started as a brilliant solution stopping rust, keeping barnacles off, and saving ships from the ocean's wrath. It became tradition because why fix what isn't broken? It's still the cheapest and most effective option. Even with modern paint tech, red anti-fouling is hard to beat. And yeah, today's ships could be painted any color, but at the end of the day, red still rules the waves. So next time you see a ship, you'll know that red belly isn't just for show, it's a centuries-old survival hack. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the crazy world of ships. Sock!